This Irish fellow went to a car boot sale, backed in the wrong way, sold the engine.
What a wonderful idea, the comedian's Christmas cracker. It was either Bringles back or the wooden top. Spot the difference. It's marvellous seeing all the old lads here, really good, but you can't move backstage for Zimmer frames, Duracell batteries and pacemakers, I'll tell you. So they're all at it. It's not just a good old Frank Carson, nice man. Well done, Frank, eh? Wouldn't have any sex life if it wasn't for pickpockets, would you? Frank will do anything. Do you know, I'll just digress a bit. He went around an old people's home in Belfast the other week to help them, and he was doing a few gags as he does, like telling, it's right, have a cracker, like that. As a nice old lady, she sat in this wheelchair like that. And he looked down at this woman and said, do you know who I am? And she said, ask the matron, she'll tell you. 21 years ago, you've all been wondering, what have we been doing? Well, we've all been working, so it just goes to show you can fool all the people all the time. I mean, some of us have gone on to be a bit of acting, and some have gone to be top-rated game show hosts. And then there's Jim Bowen. Jim Bowen on Bullseye, living proof that Snow White and Dopey did have sex. He's made a bob or two, that's Jim. He's now, because he's actually got a driver now because he failed his driving test. I said to him, Jim, what did you fail on? Was it emergency stop? He said, no, I managed that, Dougie. I said, was it the three-point turn? He said, no, I managed that, Dougie. I said, what did you fail on? He said, well, I failed on one of the questions in the highway code. I said, what was the question? He said, the question was, which road sign you see most on the highways of Britain? So I said, what did you put? He said, new potatoes, $1.75 a bag. Oh, lovely. We're all here tonight. Good old Bernard. Well done, Bernard. Excellent, Bernard.
You potatoes, 75p a bag.
Good gag, Bernard. Have you learned to write, then?
It used to be.
Excellent, Bernard. Bernard, if I realised there was going to be a heckling contest, I'd have checked my brains in the door. We could have started level. So, he's just qualified from the Dawn French School of Slimming. Well done, Bernard. Used to be in show business years and years. Used to manage the 5 Nolan sisters. Now he can only manage 2 of them.
I'm going to sing a little song from that fabulous film, Dances with Wolves.
Hey, 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 hey.
You know, always tell it when it's Christmas, can't you? You know, the good, the bad and the ugly's on again. Wasn't it nice to see Clint Eastwood get an Oscar for a Western? Because, I mean, he is good at them, isn't he? I mean, they've got the names, haven't they, the Americans? Tex, Clint. Can you imagine an English Western? Go for your gun, Malcolm. Why'd you shoot me, Kevin? This fella, Christmas Eve, he always walks into the pub, just one day a year, Christmas Eve, says to the barman, 3 pints, please. He said, do you want them in the pub? Pump? No, I want them on the counter now. 3 pints. 3 pints on the counter. He downs the 3 of them. After 5 years, he said, why do you do that every Christmas Eve? He said, well, I've got 2 brothers in Australia. He said, and they do the same thing. The next year he walked in, he said, 2 pints, please. He said, oh, has one of your brothers died? He said, no, I've packed on drinking. I went to one of them, have you been in a seafood stall? Have you ever tried to eat a whelk? I was chewing it for 4.5 hours. I took it out of my mouth, there wasn't a mark on it. You ever tried them Winkles, them little black things they give you a pin to eat them with? Like bogies with crash helmets on. Flavoured condoms. I didn't know you had taste buds down there. I bought some the other week, mint flavour, and they were that nice there to myself. They're like Wrigley's, but you can blow a bigger bubble with them. I joined the army, this medical officer. He said, you're not very big down there. I said, we're only going to fight them, aren't we?
A woman is someone special. You could spot a blonde hair on your lapel. 4 o'clock in the morning, half asleep, across a dark bedroom. But she can't see the garage doors with the headlights on. All the lads are going, because we think we understand the fairer sex. How can you understand someone that would go through the excruciating pain and agony of plucking their eyebrows? Then they draw them back in with a pencil. But they don't go back on the original line. They go half an inch up. When you meet them, they look surprised. I have a cousin, Huey. His real name's Huey, but his mother's got loose false teeth. He came home last Christmas. He said to the wife, "Where's the turkey?" She said, "There's no turkey. We're having kippers for Christmas." He said, "I give you the money for the turkey. Where is it?" She said, "The coal man came. I told him to leave in 3 bags. The pirate shouted, 'Leave in 10. All the money I had left, I got 2 kippers. He got a hold of the pirate, pulled all its feathers out, wrung its neck, hit it on the head with a poker, and threw it through the window into the garden. While he was doing it, the cat ate the kippers." He got a hold of the cat, put his hand down his throat, pulled it inside out, tied it in a knot, hit it on the head with a poker, threw it through the window into the garden. It was lying beside the pirate. The pirate raised itself on one wing, opened one eye, looked at the cat and said, "How many bags of coal did you order?"
Walter and his wife tried to get in touch with me. We've been dead for 6 years. And she got one of these medium things. What do you call them, medium people? Gypsy, anyway, from the North Pier. And he got in touch within half an hour. He spoke. She said, "Is that you, Bert?" He said, "Yes, love." And she said, "How are you, Bert? I have missed you. What kind of life have you got on the other side?" He said, I fly a lot now." He said, "You wouldn't go to Mallorca with me because you wouldn't fly," she said. "We ended up in Blackpool by the sea." He said, "I swim a lot here." "Swim?" She said, "You wouldn't go near the water. I was in the bar with your mates swimming and flying. You went like that when you were alive." He said, "My sex life's changed." She said, "What do you mean, sex?" He said, "I get 1 or 2 birds a week here." "Oh, jerky. Why?" "Sex, swimming and flying, you went like that when you were alive." He said, "I wasn't a bloody duck." I stood at that bedroom window one morning with nothing on. You know, she said to me, "Come away from the window, for God's sake. People think I married you for your money." You know, I really mean this sincerely. The comedians, for me, 20-odd years ago, was the best thing in my life. Not because of the success, but the people around. You know, we had some fantastic nights.
1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wheel Choppers Working Men's, when we have a grand array of turns for our members tonight. Topping bill, we've got Manchester's own Sammy Davis Jr., Bert Parkinson. That's not his real name, that's just his stage name. Comes here every week for 30 bob, and I know very well he can't afford to pay us. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've had complaints from Thartis as comes here to entertain our members that the acoustics are bad in this club. Now, we've put poison down and set traps. Now, we'll catch these acoustics. We're having no acoustics in this club while I'm chairman here, and that's... By the way, pies have come. And they've come on their own, so put plenty of pepper on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Next week's artist, a nail to the door.
He went to dentist, got settee chair, dentist says how many? He says the lot, get 'em out, flower. He says he says whip 'em out. He said it'll cost you 12 guineas. Oh, he said, hold on, Colt. Hold on. He said, here's $1, slacken 'em.
And the Pope has made a fortune out of his new book, The Pilgrim Progress. Very good. They've just invented a new pill for Catholics where it's 3.5 tons. You put it up against the door and your husband can't get in. Maggie Murphy went to the doctor. She said, I've forgotten to take my contradictive pills. He says, you're ignorant. She says, yeah, 3 months.
And I saw this, and I saw this big Rolls Royce parked at Blackpool on the promenade, you know, and there was a little boy walking along it, scraping his spade up and down. And his dad said, if you break that spade, I won't buy you another one.
One fellow went in the restaurant, milk bar. He said, what milkshakes have you got? The girl said, raspberry and vanilla. He said, have you got Lauren Joyce's? Only raspberry. This fella's in the bar and he says to me, I've given up drinking, smoking and going with women. And it's been the longest 20 minutes of my life.
An adventurous pirate called Bates attempted the rumba on skates. He fell on his cutlass, which rendered him No, we can't do that. Sorry.
Jim Bowen, now there's a fella, Jim Bowen. Now Jimbo, look at him. I've seen more meat on Lester Pickett's whip. And I played darts with Jim Bowen for years, until his head got blunt. But I'm proud because my wife, she's a wonderful person. She's got me well adjusted now to sex life. Because we were making love the other night. She's getting lazy. I said, did you love? She said, no. I said, I swore you moved. I fell over last week and knocked myself to sleep, you know. No, I couldn't get the ground. She thought I was breakdancing. Not as fast as that to get over there, though. No, I'm not mentioning any names, but you can follow my eyes. He was working with the Liverpool Council. You know when you clean the Mersey tunnel out, you pull him through. He's got the Embassy Club, as you all know. It's in Rochdale Road, and it's, well, I went there. No, you wipe your feet when you're going out. And you can have a meal there. You can have a Sunday lunch there now. It's a broken leg of lamb. No, he's all right, Ben. He's one of my favourites. I love him very much. I wouldn't give him one, Mike. His mother's a lovely woman. She's 94, bless her. And she told me she wouldn't breastfeed him as a baby. She said, I wanted him just as a friend. But Bernie, when he was born, bless him, the midwife had to have gas. And when he was a baby, the doctor took one look at him and gave his dad a slap.
I'm on next.
I know you are. I tell you what, Bernard, you won't stay on here long, I don't think. I've loosened all the screws out of here. Yeah.
This fellow was talking to he said, you know, in life, you know, women are funny, aren't they? You know, 3 different sorts of kinds of women. You know, when they make love, they say different things, don't they? I said, what do you mean, like? He said, well, a young girl, right, you know, after sex will go, that's it. That's it. And a lady of the night, like a substitute, will go, that's it. And a wife will go, peach. I'll paint the ceiling peach. How long's your club been open now, Bill?
35 years.
35 years, been a man, right? And it used to be a shed. And now he's built an extension on it. It used to cost £1 to get in them days, 25 years ago. £1 to get in. And £0.50 to get out.
It was only when you was up.
Exactly, yeah. I did your club. I did Berners Club, right? You wouldn't believe this, I did the club. And it's a hard job being a comedian, isn't it? Yeah. It must be the hardest job in the world.
How would you know?
The hardest job in the bloody world is a comedian, though. Comedian, isn't it? Yeah. Impressionists, they get me. They can't do themselves. They've got to do somebody famous. I was watching a fella on the television doing an impression of me, right? I wasn't working, and he was getting paid. It wasn't me. It wasn't you. No, you can't do me. I'll do impression. I'll tell you what, I'll do a bloody impression. All you got to do is you go, lend a pair of glasses. I'll do an impression. Can I borrow your glasses, love? Oh, do I? Jim's, I won't borrow yours. Thank you very much. Got myself a crying.
Gotta do my best. Cause she's a living doll.
I'll give you a clue. New balls, Cliff. Why, I've hardly used these.
Yeah, love, you don't need them. You need a guide dog. Yeah. What do you think of the lads? Don't you look different?
Now, we've all got a bit of grey hair, haven't we? Like, you know. I mean, it takes its toll, this job. And Frank Carson is here. Frank's still going. He hasn't worn his teeth out yet. Look at that. Well, says, what's the difference between Frank Carson and the M1? Because you can turn off the M1.
The way I tell it. I should have read you this letter earlier on, actually. It's from my mother. She says, Dear Frank, you've now been away for 3 weeks, and we thought you were still in the lavatory. The insurance man called this morning and said, at the last instalment on your granny's funeral isn't paid, up she comes. Since you've left home, your father has become a sex maniac and tries to make love to me every opportunity he gets. Please excuse the wobbly writing. Let me get away with that one. Your Uncle Joe drank a bottle of varnish yesterday and had a horrible death, but a lovely finish. Your Uncle Paddy, who's been on Andrew's liver salts for 37 years, died a fortnight ago. Yesterday we had to go up to the cemetery and beat his liver to death with a stick. Where I tell you. I would have put £2 in this letter, only I have the envelope sealed. See me laughing at that one? That's the first time I've heard of it.
Who wants their passports down for the Isle of Man? What about the Irishman was struck with lightning and thought he was having his photograph taken? Well, the Irishman had the leg transplant and he's well, he rejected it. What about the fellow from Aberdeen had the plastic hip put in and asked the surgeon could he have the bone for the dog? And this fellow said to me, have a look at this, Frank. There's a Japanese hearing aid. Now, he said, that contains, look at the size of a grain of rice. That contains a microchip system with 4 transistor batteries. Plastic. See the Japanese? Their technology is so far in advance of ours, we'll never be able to compete with them. That is the most advanced technological engineering field of the 20th century, that Panasonic hearing aid. I said, was it expensive? He says, 20 past 7. What about the fellow who was on Mastermind? He said to Maggotty Magazine, do you mind if I answer questions with my back to you? He said, not at all. He says, what's your name? Joe Wilson. Where do you come from? Luton. What do you want to answer questions on? English political history, 1931, 1981. Occupation, taxi driver.
Settle down now. Too good for this place. I went in the chemist the other day, you know, Doug. I said, have you got any rat poison? He said, have you tried boots? I said, I don't want to kick him to death, you know. I went swimming at the Turkish baths and it was full of steam, so I took my clothes off. When the steam cleared, I was in a chip shop. I felt out of place. The lady said, I'll have 6 pence. I said, no, you won't. I don't like jokes like that. I'm a bit unlucky like that, you know. I come from an unlucky family. It's unluckier than that. I bought a bunch of bananas and when I opened them, they were all empty. Yeah. And my brother died drinking a can of Long Life. And my uncle, he confessed to murder on his deathbed and he got better. Do you get it? My great-grandfather, he got shipwrecked and he got picked up by the Titanic. That's too good for this place. Oh. What are you laughing at? I lent my pal £1,000 to have a plastic face job done and now I can't recognise him to get me money back. The wife come in the other day, she said, we got trouble with the car. I said, what's up? She said, there's water in the engine. I said, where is it? She said, in the river. You can be unlucky, can't you? I bought a jellyfish in it set. My pal bought a box of After Eights and he died at 7:30.
About years ago, you know, that's taking you back, this, isn't it, this programme? Taking you back. Do you remember when the first spring mattresses came out, years and years ago? We lived in Accrington, that's where the M6 is cobbled. And this Mr. and Mrs. Wilkinson, they got, everybody watched what everybody got, didn't they, in the terrace town. They got this spring mattress, and then they didn't deliver furniture then to go and collect it, and they didn't do like a delivery, to go down and pick it up. Word got around, they're going for a spring mattress, and they went down to this Days Furnishers in Accrington, and they brought it back. And he's at the front with it on their head. Spring mattress, he's got it at the front, and she's behind with the back half of the mattress, bringing it back. And all the village, they got the mattress. And Saturday afternoon, it in. Oh, Mark, up in it went the mattress. And everybody's talking. They got a mattress. Monday morning, it's going back. It's out, taking it back. He's at the front.
And look, this Mrs. Jones across the road, she shouted across the road, "Are you taking the mattress back? Are you taking it back?" She says, "Yes, it's too fast for us." My mother didn't want me. But my dad said, "Keep him, they'll do for the others to play with." It was terrible getting to sleep, 8 kids in one bed, can you imagine? Hey? And it was a single bed. My dad put us in bed 2 at a time. When we sleep, he'd take us out and stand us up against the wall, and he used to put...
I've worn quite well, haven't I, In fact, you can be truthful with me, I have. I thought of putting a little board on here saying 1993 in case you got mixed up with the 2 versions, you see. This fella's got this little parrot, you see, and he's teaching it how to speak, and all it'll say is, "Who is it?" Like that. Well, he goes out to work 8 o'clock one morning, and at 9:30, there's a knock on the door. And the parrot said, "Who is it?" See? And he said, "It's a plumber. I've come to when your pipes would let me in, please." And then the parrot said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's a plumber. I've come to when your pipes would let me in, please." And then the parrot said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's the plumber. I've come to when your pipes would let me in." And then the parrot said, "Who is it?" It's a plumber. I've come to when your pipes. I forgot the end. Because I don't live here, you see. I live between Doncaster and Barnsley. You've all heard of Barnsley. It's not twinned with anybody. It's got a suicide pact with Grimsby. Jane Fonda came over from America with one of them aerobics classes, and she went to Barnsley, and she put the tape on. She said to the class, she said, "Right, hands on thighs," and they all went like that. And all of the characters, there's only the 2 of them. There's the parrot who's in the cage, and I know what he said. He said, "Who is it?" See? And then this chap's outside, and he said, "What do you mean?" Oh no, that was me earlier. No. He said, "It's a plumber. I've come to in your pipes. Let me in, please." The parrot said, "Who is it?" Just before Christmas, they caught 2 punk rockers in Doncaster. This makes me sick. One was drinking battery acid, and the other was chewing fireworks. So the police charged one and let the other off. So I wouldn't forget it. And the thing is, I know where I've gone wrong as well. The parrot's in the cage. And he did say, right enough, he said, "Who is it?" See? And then this chap's outside, and he didn't say, "It's the plumber. I've come to when your pipes will let me in, please." That's where I've gone wrong. He said, "It's the plumber. I've come to when your pipes will let me in, please." Angrily. He went on for about 4.5 hours, and he's screaming and shouting his head off. And in the end, the blood pressure got the better of him. And he collapsed in a heap on the stairs, and at 5 o'clock the man came home from work. Well, he fell right over this body, and he looked down and he said, "Who is it?" And the parrot said, "It's the plumber. He's going to..." What a lovely crowd, what a lovely... Let me just mention this, a lot of the artists have been making videotapes that you can purchase, you can buy at the shops. Now, I haven't made any tapes, but I've got some nice jars of chutney. Enjoy the new year, all the best. ...21 years. My God, doesn't time fly?
Mind you, I had a nice surprise when I came here today. A lovely young lady stopped me outside the door. She said, Mr. Williams, you don't look sexy. I said, listen, Flower, sex at my age is like playing snooker with a rope. Mind you, that shock of my life 3 weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you this in all honesty. I was at the Grosvenor House Hotel in London on Park Lane. Grosvenor House Hotel, a very posh hotel. I walked out on stage and 850 people stood up en bloc. They thought it was Nelson Mandela. Hey, girls, a little bit of scandal. What about that bloke in Manchester last week? We're walking down the main street in Manchester and he saw a notice in the shop window, condoms fitted while you wait. Condoms fitted while you wait. I asked you. So God bless him, he went inside and this beautiful blonde comes slinking round the counter. He said, excuse me, miss, are you the one that fits condoms while you wait? She said, I'm certainly Ham. With an H on the ham. He said, well, wash your hands, I want a quarter of mint imperial. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, I was a professional footballer. I wasn't a good player, but could stop them buggers that was. And before I was a professional football player, I was an amateur boxer. And I was good. Only had one fight. ABA finals at Stoke-on-Trent, 1948. And I was an exponent of the left jab. I was brilliant. And I fought this lad and I jabbed him, cut him, jabbed him, cut him, jabbed him, cut him. And if ref hadn't took knife off me, I'd have bleeding killed him. "21 years, good memories. Have you got good memories?" That's good. I'll test you.
An army colonel went up to a house of ill repute. Did I say the wrong word? An army colonel went up to a house of ill repute, knocked on the door and said, "Good evening, ma'am." Said, "How much for the pleasure of my company?" She said, £5, sir. He said, "Thank you." "Company for the left!"
Well, the fellow went to his mate's house and knocked on the door. The wife opened it. He said, "Could I speak to Harry, please?" She said, "Harry? Oh, God, Harry. Harry." He said, "I just want to have a bit of a rabbit with Harry, you know." She said, Harry. He said, "Has something happened to Harry then?" Because he's quick, you know. The woman said, he's just passed away. He said, "I'm sorry about that. Were you with him when he went?" She said, "Yes." He said, "Did he mention me paintbrush by any chance?"
And you can always tell when you look at a girl what type they are. I could see this girl was used to being picked up because she had handles on her hips. So I walked over, I said, "Hello." She said, "Hello." I said, "You look pretty groovy." And she said, "Yes, I wear corduroy knickers."
I was in Morecambe a couple of years ago. 14 weeks in Morecambe. Somebody has to go there. I lost the raffle. They put all the artists' names in a hat and Mr. Delfont pulls them out and the ones who lose have to go to Morecambe. It's a sort of cemetery with lights, isn't it? Mad gay city. Stockport with C. If you want any excitement in Morecambe, they all go in the grocers and watch the bacon slicer. Lovely girl she is. Wednesday's the big day. They all turn out and watch the traffic lights change. 10:30 it is if you don't want to miss it. Doesn't last long. What a place. They don't bury the dead, they stand them up in bush shelters.
There's St. Peter, St. Paul, and Jesus, or as he's known today, JC. Playing golf. St Paul tees off, see? Lovely shot, straight down the fairway, lands on the apron of the green and stops 3 foot from the hole. St Paul tees off, another lovely shot, straight down the fairway, lands on the apron of the green, stops 2 foot from the hole. JC tees off. Well, a beautiful shot, straight down the fairway, lands on the apron of the green, rolls so close to the hole, if there'd been that much wind, the ball would have gone in, but it stopped. As the ball stopped, the rabbits come run out the wood, got all the ball between its claws, run back in the wood, out through the other side of the wood. As it's come out the other side, an eagle's come down, crunch, got hold of the rabbit, took it up in the air, 100 yards, 20 yards, 300 yards, 400 yards, 500 yards, half a mile, 2 mile. When the rabbit got to 2 mile, let go of the ball come down, bounced 4 times on the green, went straight in the hole. Jesus said, don't mess about, Dad, we're playing for money!
My brother was in school, the teacher said, now, Johnny, if you had 8 sweeties and I took half of them away, what would I have? He said, a broken arm, miss. Never stop swearing. The other morning, breakfast time, Mum said, if you don't stop swearing, Father Christmas won't bring anything. He said, I don't care. Don't believe in bloody Father Christmas, a load of rubbish. So Christmas morning, instead of laying out his presents, he left this great big sack of horse manure. Brother finds it, goes into my sister's room. He said, hey, you. What did you get for Christmas? She said, I've got a dolly, and a dolly's pram, and sweeties. What did you get? She said, I got a bloody horse, but it's gone.
It's great to be here tonight. It's really smashing to be back on The Comedians after all that time. See that, me? 1971. I was still at school. That was my school uniform. Look, there. You just see the prefect badge at the top there. Programs we were watching on telly though in those days, like Bonanza. Do you remember Bonanza? Ding digga ding digga ding digga ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Da da da. Do you remember? You used to go home like that, didn't you? See a western, you go home like that. Kids can't do that today. They go home being Mario. Ding da 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 ding.
Just move that out of the way so you can see me. 80 quid for shoes and I can't see them. I know she's a big girl. You want to see the size of her hips. Had it out in the park last week. The elastic went in the knickers, brought 3 trees down. Oh, you've no idea. I said, have you seen the size of your... She said, it's the pill. I said, how many are you taking? 15 a day? Which I know is a lie, because you've been on the coil for years. God, they're a nuisance, them coils, aren't they? 2:30 the other morning, we were picking up Radio Luxembourg police messages. Every time she crosses her legs, the garage doors are flying up and down. Played havoc with the Christmas tree lights. That was in Liverpool city centre, that was right. Woke up the other morning, bedroom full of steam, the goblin tea's made her come on 2:45. Picked up a fella on the CB radio one night, he's shouting, "You in there, good buddy?" It's a big 10-4. I thought, what the bloody hell's that coming from? I was getting nagged at from both ends. I had one end going, I've got a headache, and the one was, come on in, rubber duck. Come on in, rubber duck.
Looking down here at these lovely lads, it's like Jurassic Park, isn't it? And, this woman on the beach at Blackpool, she shouted to her husband, "Have you seen my flip-flops?" He said, "We've all seen them. Put your brassiere back on." Hey, no, I hope 1994 starts better for me, because last year I fell out with a wife, and I got home late from a New Year party. I didn't get back till February, and hey, it isn't easy being married though, is it? And I was thinking the other day, you know, why do people bother getting married? Eh? Why don't you just meet somebody that you don't like and buy them a house?
I've never with a woman watching much soap opera in all my life. If it wasn't for Emmerdale Farm, she'd have no fresh air. Young doctors are my favourites, what brilliant surgeons. I was watching it one afternoon, 3:30. They did an operation on Paul Robinson for piles. 3:30, he was riding a horse in Neighbours. What is it with them Australians? Every time you ask you a question, you give you the answer. What's your favourite colour? Blue. You listen to them. What's your job, digger? What's your name, Sheila? This is the best one. What's your favourite hobby, sport? Where do you live, Sydney?
I said to her the other night, you know, we're in the house, I said, shall we try some new positions tonight? She said, that's a good idea. She said, you stand behind the ironing board and I'll lay on the settee farting all night. Hey, but listen, these two, they have a prize pedigree bull and they take it all over the county service in Cackle in Yorkshire. Anyway, the bull's had a man's problem, right, and, I know, oh, tell me, and, oh no, I'm pathetic, me. I make love like a video, me, I do. Fast forward, pause and eject, and that's it. No, but they've got this bull and I heard him. He said, how did you go on with the bull? Did you get it sorted? Oh, he said, I went to see that vet in Leeds. He said, it was unbelievable. He said, I gave it 6 tablets in one afternoon and the following day it serviced 45 cackle. His pal said, blooming heck, what do they call them, tablets? He said, I don't know what they call them. He said, but they taste like peppermint. Hey, they do as well. And, hey, I've not given up hope though. In fact, this week I've spent some money at W.H. Smith's, right, and I've bought one of these new Good Sex Guide instructional videos, and I've learned this position off the tape, and I'm going to try it over the new year with the wife, if she's compatible. Exactly. And I bet the Elephant Man got more leg over than me, and anyway, this position I've learned. It's called rodeo style, right? Rodeo, part 1. I have got to lay her face down on the bed like that. Tie her hands to the headboard with some rope so she's secure. Thus. Sideways elevation, thus. Fig 1. Part 2. You don't keep going, did you? And I think I'm going through that mental pause, me, anyway. And you know, I hope I'm poorly, I do. I'd hate to be alright and feel like this. And, right, rodeo style, part 2. Then I have got to hop on from behind, you know, like you do. And once we are coupled, i.e., coupled, right. This is rodeo style. I have then got to say to the wife, do you know my girlfriend in Blackpool likes it like this? And then I've got to try and stop on. And,
hard times. You remember the 30s? Very hard times they were. I had a pair of shoes in 1933. I could put my foot on the penny. The soles were that thin. I could tell you it was heads or tails. Very hard time, the 30s. We had nothing. Nobody had a sausage in them days, I'll tell you. They had nothing. Until he said, hey, don't eat this, don't eat that. That's bad for you, that's bad for you. We ate anything in them days. Anything. Oxtails, sheep's heads, didn't affect us. Fella up in court, the judge says, he was up in that court for stealing an overcoat. The judge says, wasn't you up before me 4 years ago for stealing an overcoat? He says, well, how long do you think an overcoat lasts? What about the fella broke into Ratner's Jewellers and stole the carpet? A scouser went for a job on a building site. The foreman says, what would you want to paint the 80-foot chimney? He said, 80-foot brush. I like to go to Liverpool once a year to visit my hubcaps. Scouser got for a prostitute. She said, would you like a blowjob? He said, will it affect me dole money? So it's nice to be with the boys again. It really is. Always a pleasure to see him. Because we're all good friends, really. No malice, really. Just so long as they don't get the wage package mixed up.
I remember farther back than 21 years, I remember being born. That's a good memory, isn't it? 11.5 pounds I was. Breastfed. I looked at my mother's boobs, I thought I'll never eat all that. And then I remember at 6 months old being wheeled up the High Street in a big pram, a princess pram, 4-wheeler. My mother stopped the pram in front of the cooperative window, went inside to get some groceries, and 2 other mothers came along with their little babies and parked one at each side of me, and they both were looking at me because I was a funny colour. And there weren't many of us them days. And I looked at the one on the left-hand side, I said, "What they feeding you on?" He said, "Russ." I said, "Very good." Turned to the one, I said, "What they feeding you on?" He says, "Cow and gate." And they both turned to me and they said, "What are they feeding you on?" I said, "I'm breastfed." I said, "That must be very good." I said, "Not when you're sharing it with a man that smokes Bruno." Don't stop on too long these days, ladies and gentlemen. The old arthritis gets me. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I enjoyed my football career. I've enjoyed my entertaining career. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot give you grandeur. I cannot give you wealth. But from my heart, I wish you happiness, contentment, and good health. Good luck, good night, God bless.
Comedians tonight were Stan Boardman, Jim Bowen, Dougie Brown, Frank Carson, Johnny Casson, Eddie Collington, Les Dennis, Ken Goodwin, Bernard Manning, Mick Miller, George Roker, Roy Walker, and Charlie Williams.